Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're planning to move to Canada with your family, or you're already here and wondering what life really costs in 2025, you're in the right place. In this video, we'll compare the cost of living for a family of 4 in Vancouver, Toronto, and Calgary. We'll look at the big costs like housing and groceries, plus the hidden ones, such as healthcare, car insurance, and education, that often surprise newcomers. Stick around, because at the end I'll share which city is the most expensive, which is the most affordable, and what a realistic monthly budget looks like for a family of 4 in 2025. Let's start with housing. In Vancouver, renting a 2-bedroom apartment in 2025 usually costs around $3,000 to $3,500 per month depending on location and amenities. Toronto is slightly cheaper, with similar apartments running between $2,800 and $3,300. Calgary remains the most affordable, where a comparable 2-bedroom place is closer to $2,000 to $2,500 per month. If you're thinking about buying a house, the difference is even larger. Vancouver homes still average about $1.2 million to $1.4 million. Toronto sits around $1.1 million to $1.3 million, while Calgary is far more affordable at roughly $550,000 to $750,000. When it comes to utilities, in Vancouver and Toronto families typically pay between $250 and $300 per month for electricity, water, and heating. Calgary is in a similar range, though winter heating can push costs higher. Internet bills average $60 to $90 per month, and a family of 4 usually spends another $200 to $250 on cell phone plans. Groceries are also a big part of the budget. In Vancouver, a family of 4 spends about $1,500 to $1,700 per month, in Toronto around $1,400 to $1,600, and in Calgary roughly $1,200 to $1,400 depending on dietary preferences. Transportation is another key expense. Transit passes cost about $110 to $120 in Vancouver, $155 to $165 in Toronto, and between $115 and $130 in Calgary. But for many families, owning a vehicle is unavoidable, and that's where costs rise sharply, especially for newcomers. Car insurance is much higher when you don't yet have a Canadian driving record. In Toronto, new drivers often pay $300 to $500 per month, which works out to $3,600 to $6,000 a year. In Vancouver, where ICBC regulates insurance, experienced drivers might pay as little as $150 to $160, but newcomers are usually charged $180 to $250 or more. Calgary sits in between, where premiums for new drivers generally range from $250 to $400. Out of the 3 cities, Vancouver tends to be the cheapest for newcomers without a Canadian driving record, while Toronto is the most expensive. Healthcare is another area where rules change by province. In Calgary, Alberta's AHCIP covers citizens, permanent residents, and most work or study permit holders with no monthly premiums, though families still pay out of pocket for dental, prescriptions, vision, and ambulances. In Vancouver, British Columbia's MSP program also covers citizens and residents, but newcomers usually face a 3-month waiting period before benefits begin. Work permit holders and their families do not pay monthly premiums, but international students and their dependents each pay $75 per month. In Toronto, Ontario's OHIP system covers citizens and permanent residents automatically. Many work permit holders also qualify if their permit is valid for at least 6 months and tied to full-time employment. But most international students are not eligible and instead must purchase private or university health insurance such as UHIP, which costs anywhere from $200 to $600 per month per person. Across all 3 provinces, families often buy supplemental private insurance, typically $150 to $300 per month for a family of 4, to cover dental, prescriptions, and vision. For newcomers on work permits, Calgary and Vancouver are the most cost-effective because basic health coverage, in Alberta and British Columbia, comes with no monthly premiums. However, for international students, Calgary is the best option since they do not pay premiums under AHCIP. While students in British Columbia and their families must pay $75 per person, per month. In Ontario, most students are not eligible for OHIP at all and must rely on costlier private or university plans. Education is another factor. Public K-12 schools in all three cities are free for children of citizens, permanent residents, and most work or study permit holders, aside from small activity fees. Whereas private schools can cost $15,000 to $30,000 per year. At the university level, Canadian citizens and permanent residents pay only a few $1,000s per year, but most children of temporary residents are charged international tuition, often $30,000 to $40,000 annually. There are some exceptions for temporary residents in certain provinces and universities. If their child is starting a 4-year bachelor's degree and the parent's work or study permit is valid for the full duration of that program, the child may be allowed to pay domestic tuition instead of international rates. So, what does it all add up to? For a family of 4 in 2025, living in Vancouver usually costs between $7,500 and $9,000 per month. Toronto comes in slightly lower, between $6,500 and $8,500. Calgary is the most affordable, where families can often live comfortably on $5,000 to $6,500 per month. To wrap it up, Vancouver offers a beautiful lifestyle but also comes with some of the highest housing and student healthcare costs in Canada. Toronto is also expensive, with high rent, costly car insurance, and the added burden of private health insurance for most international students, though overall it is still slightly cheaper than Vancouver. Calgary, on the other hand, provides the most affordable lifestyle, lower housing prices, and free healthcare for newcomers, making it the best value for families arriving on work or study permits. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone planning their move to Canada. And let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do a similar comparison with other Canadian cities. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.